Hello everyone and welcome to the Hermitcraft Season 9 World Download, which is available right now. In this video, we're going to be taking a journey through the season as told by statistics. Yeah, that's right, I'm talking about these numbers right here. They, of course, tell a different story about what each of the hermits have been up to throughout the season, and I wrangled together what I think are some really interesting statistics to go over. This video will also be released at the same time as a YouTube short, so if you want some bonus statistics, it'll be linked in the description box down below, and I'll remind you again at the end of the video. For now, we're going to tell one of the least obvious stories of the season. Of course, there's all these fantastical builds, but they don't represent the grind that's hidden behind them. Well, maybe they do, but what I'm referring to is destruction. Every season of Hermitcraft, some desert somewhere in the world gets waylaid to as the hermits come over here and absolutely decimate the area of all of its sand and sandstone. So the question is, which hermit mined the most sand this season of Hermitcraft? It was Joe Hills with a whopping 285,000 blocks of sand mined. And as you saw it there in these charts, I've listed other hermits as well. So feel free to pause the video at any point there's a graph up and have a little look. These statistics will tell stories of each of the hermits' adventures this season. Some of those are more obvious than others. So who mined the most deep slate diamond ore this season? It was Doc M with almost 10,000 blocks. Of course, this season of Hermitcraft, Doc decided to actually do his redstone wiring on top of diamond deep slate ore. So who was most into their veggies this season? Well, Iskal managed to mine over 5,000 carrots. I wonder if this golden carrot shop had anything to do with that. On the topic of Iskal, let's talk about his favourite block, Diorite. Who used the most? You guessed it, it was B-dubs with 7,500 Diorite. That stuff is pretty easy to get your hands on, but I tell you what's not, ancient debris. So who mined the most? It was Jevin with 6,204 ancient debris mined, which explains why we have this netherite beacon on Hermitcraft. Jevin, if you're watching, you're an absolute mad lad. And with all that time spent in the nether dimension, it probably explains how Jevin racked up over 1.5 kilometers ride time on top of a strider. And speaking of riding, I've got an interesting one for you regarding pigs. Yes, it was none other than Mumbo Jumbo who rode on a pig for over 700 meters. Is there a story behind this I should be aware of? Please leave a comment down below if you know why. So who on this server is the master of time? The one known for sleeping in a bed? Nope, you're wrong. It's actually Joe Hills, who snoozed almost 5,000 times this season. And no one appreciates that more than me. Oh god, the phantoms. What incredible game design, harassing me at nighttime. Genius. Yes, I was saddened to learn that yours truly was the one killed the most by phantoms this season. On the topic of things to be killed by, you can be killed by an armor stand? Yes, this season of Hermitcraft, Zedaf was killed by an armor stand. In fact, he was killed by pretty much anything in this game that can kill you, an anomaly I noticed when looking through all of these stats. And with the Zedvancement series, it's probably fair to say that Zedaf has the most unique stats for this season out of any hermit ever. Okay, for some reason, the resource pack didn't equip itself properly. That's why there were pumpkins everywhere. Distractions. On the topic of armor stands, who placed the most? None other than Zombie Cleo, over 1,500 of these throughout the season. And of course, if you know anything about Cleo, you'll know that she can do magic with armor stands. I mean, that is a stack of waffles? Oh yeah, custom textures. Look, an elven cookie. That would of course have come from none other than Scarland. And if I asked you which hermit died the most this season, you might have said Scar, but actually it was Cleo with 750 deaths. I'm gonna guess this is related to those armor stands and all of the custom heads that she uses to decorate them. I'll admit it, some of these statistics are just an excuse to show off the incredible builds here on Hermitcraft. So who used the most dark oak logs? It was none other than False Symmetry. Now, you can't doubt False's dedication to this base, but I found an interesting couple of statistics that back this up. So, most iron axes broken, that's right, used until they've been destroyed, that was false, and this was actually true for stone axes as well. And so this tells you that False was at her building game from the very beginning of the season. And in other breaking of item statistics, we have the shield. This one was quite interesting to me. Corrales has fully used over 7 shields this season. Someone certainly knows how to defend themselves properly. The game tracks so many things, we can even find out who used Illume the most this season. It was Pearlescent Moon, interacting with one almost 300 times. Although coming over to the Twinkly Trash Shop, I'm wondering if it has something to do with the decorative blocks more so than making banners. But as you know, some of these statistics are here just to marvel at the gorgeous bases on this season once again. And so which Hermit used the most moss blocks? Well, Pearl put over 82,000 moss blocks onto the Hermitcraft world. And you can really see it over here with this absolutely gorgeous terraforming. So you all know who was the king of the bone this season. I may have played a big role in gathering this stuff, but who was it who actually used the most bone meal this season? It was Corrales with over 100,000 uses of bone meal. And I didn't even make it into the top 10. One thing I did manage to make it to the top of was murder. Yes, most mob kills, probably with the help of this drowned farm to get copper, which we ran for a ridiculous amount of time. And what the heck is that? There is some serious lag and some strange stuff off in the distance. And now all of the strange stuff is falling. What is going on here? What is this? There's more of it over here and it just starts... What the heck was that? I have no idea. Are they mobs? Clearly, I need to come back and investigate that. Now, when browsing over mobs killed, one caught my eye. The question is, who killed the most axolotls this season? It was Cubfan, who murdered over 1,200 of these cute little creatures. This is, of course, all for the museum, which has the rarest axolotl in the game, the blue axolotl. Cub literally has everything inside of this museum, it seems. So on the topic of innocent creatures being killed, the worst beekeeper award goes to Impulse, who killed over 50 bees this season. Why, Impulse? Why? Now, we love our cuddly creatures, but it's all fun and games when it comes to hermits killing one another, right? And it'll be no surprise to learn that Gemini Tay was the biggest hermit slayer this season with over 200 player kills. Alrighty then, I think it's now time to talk a little bit about Decked Out, and specifically some of its native inhabitants. So who was killed the most by Ravengers this season? It was Scar, and of course all of the rest of them were our top Decked Out players. And so this leads me to talk about some of the magic powering Decked Out. Of course, redstone wire. None of this would have been possible without our redstone dust. And the hermit that placed the most of this was Tango Tech, with over 32,000 pieces of redstone. I'm guessing that probably surprised nobody. But let's take a moment to think about how long it would have taken to put this game together. The player with the most playtime this season was, of course, Tango Tech, with over 118 days logged into the server. And we can do something really cool here. We can also look at play sessions, basically meaning the amount of times you've logged onto the server. That was also Tango Tech, who logged in almost 3,000 times this season. What's interesting here is what happens when you combine these statistics together. You then get the average play session, and the longest goes to XB Crafted, averaging over 90 minutes each time logged into Hermitcraft. So this next statistic actually relates to Decked Out, believe it or not. Who consumed the most honey bottles this season? It was Hypnotized, with myself in a close second. We're of course talking about those juiced Decked Out runs, which kind of means I'm accusing myself of that too. And now for the totally random statistics that made it to the end of my list. Who tuned the most note blocks this season? None other than EthosLab, with over 19,000 tuned note blocks. Oh boy, it must have taken a long time to put all of this together. And with this next one, you might know what I'm going to say before I say it. Which hermit travelled the furthest on a boat or a raft? This season it was Rendog with a whopping 96 kilometers traversed using a boat. And this next one is also related to travel, but there is no winning hermit because the results are tied, which sounds kind of strange. Here's the deal. When travelling through the air, flying with our elytra wings, several hermits maxed out the statistics. Yeah, look at that. I don't even know what to make of this mess, but Jevin, Joe, Doc, and Scar flew too far for the statistics to keep up with. We do, however, have one helpful statistic that could shine some light on this. The Hermit that used the most firework rockets was Jevin, with over 100,000 rockets consumed this season. So on a season of Hermitcraft, we do a lot of flying, we do a lot of trading with villagers too. And this season, the Villager Trading Award goes to Grian with over 100,000 trades. With all those noises they make, that would have drove me mad. Alright, simple question. Who created the most maps this season? Yes, you already know it. Vintage Beef. Over 13,000 maps crafted this season alone. Well, I wonder what he used all those for, eh? Now, with all of these statistics, I tried to find something unique for each Hermit that could tell a story about their season. That was actually really quite difficult, but I was really pleased to find this next statistic. So, the most stone pickaxes broken this season goes to TFC, who grinded through 28 of these. It paints the perfect picture of TFC doing what he loved at the beginning of the game, heading straight down to the branch mine and grinding through those pickaxes. And of course, there are many other statistics that we could extrapolate from the world download files. You can go and have a look for yourself. But I'll remind you at the end of this video, there's also that short if you want some bonus statistics. It'll be linked in the description box down below. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. And of course, I hope you enjoyed Season 9. And now we get to look forward to Season 10 of Hermitcraft. But that's it from me for now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.